EU leaders have urged the European Parliament to be responsible and approve the new long-term EU budget proposal.
The Parliament, therefore, must also accept its responsibility for our peoples, for companies, for jobs for young people, for prosperity. We have to face up to our responsibilities. That is what we have done, and I hope and I'm sure that the Parliament will do likewise.
The plea came after European leaders struck a deal on Friday on the 7-year budget following more than 24 hours of talks. Mirroring the austerity measures that national governments are currently undertaking, the budget has been capped at 960 billion euros. The original November proposal was 972 billion. It's the first time in the Union's history that an EU budget is smaller than the previous period.
It is a balanced and growth-oriented budget for Europe for the rest of the decade. This is a budget of moderation. We simply could not ignore the extremely difficult economic realities across Europe.
But the European Parliament is not happy. Leaders of the 4 biggest political groups have already slammed the proposal.
The figures are for sure not satisfying for the European Parliament. 860 billion engagements, 808 billion for the payments. This is a gap which is for the European Parliament too high. On the other hand, I take note that the Council made now an offer to the European Parliament.
It's very difficult for the Parliament to accept this proposal. And the reasons are very simple. First of all, they create a deficit of more than 50 billion euro, what is unacceptable for the Parliament. You cannot say at one side to the Member States, oh, you have to solve your problems of public finances, at the same time create a deficit on the level of Europe. And second is they are cutting mostly in growth-related expenditures.
The deal appears to be a victory for British Prime Minister David Cameron, who intensely lobbied to slash EU expenditure. Looking forward to the 2015 UK elections, Cameron recently promised to offer the British people an in-out referendum on EU membership.
I've been determined to cut these spending limits, and so to cut the amount that Brussels can spend. And working with like-minded allies, I've achieved that today. Every previous time these multi-year deals have been agreed, spending has gone up. Not this time. The spending limit, which we've spent the last 2 days discussing, is, if you like, the limit on the European credit card.
It remains unclear if MEPs will choose to veto the agreed EU budget by secret vote. This would reduce the chances that it could be passed.